Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of myViewBoard How-Tos. Today, we're going to be discussing how to do live teaching with myViewBoard Whiteboard. So, first off, for live teaching, you have two options that you can do. You can do video conferencing, or you can do live streaming. And today, we'll be discussing both options and some of the pros and cons of each. Okay. So first off, for video conferencing, you can use different software such as Google Meet or Microsoft Teams to share your teaching materials for synchronous online learning. And for that, first you're going to want to choose which video conferencing software you want to use. So for example, if your school has a certain software that you're required to use, then definitely use that one. If not, then choose the one that you feel most comfortable with for teaching. And then the second thing is you're going to be opening your myViewBoard Whiteboard for Windows on your desktop. And then you'll be able to access your teaching materials from there. And then you're going to want to screen share using the video conferencing software. So we're going to go over that today with two of the options of Google Meet and Microsoft Teams. So first off, for Google Meet, I'm going to use the handy Windows toggle function to be able to show you how to do that with Google Meet. Okay, so now I've toggled onto my desktop. And first thing, you want to make sure that you're signed into your Google account over here. And then you're going to want to go to the Google Apps section and then choose Google Meet. So over here, you're going to want to start a new meeting. And you have the option of scheduling it in your Google Calendar for later. But for demo purposes, today we're going to do the start an instant meeting. Okay. And okay, so now you have a pop-up over here on the left-hand corner. Over here on this button, you can copy this link. And you're going to want to send that to your students so that they'll be able to join your live session. And now for how to share your whiteboard canvas using Google Meet. So if you come here onto the Present Now button, you're going to want to click that. And you have different options. So for example, if you want to share the window, you can specifically share your whiteboard window. But keep in mind, if you do that, the students will only be able to see your whiteboard canvas. So if you click off of that canvas, they won't be able to see it during the video conference. So if you want to share your full canvas, and if you plan on using, for example, the Windows toggle button to toggle back and forth between your desktop and the whiteboard canvas, then it'd be better to actually share your entire screen. So you want to choose the screen that has the whiteboard canvas. For example, for mine, it'll be in screen 1. And then you're going to click it, and then you'll be able to share it with your students. And then you can start a video conferencing session. Okay, so that was for Google Meet. And over here on my slides, I also included step-by-step instructions. Because for myself, I like being able to read instructions and follow along at my own pace. So I wanted to give you guys that option also. So these slides will be available after the live stream, so then you can follow along at your own pace. Okay. The next one is Microsoft Teams. So again, we're going to use that handy Windows toggle function. And now I'm going to go into Microsoft Teams. Okay, so for Microsoft Teams, you're going to want to make sure that you're signed into your Microsoft Teams account. You're going to go to the calendar option over here. And you have two options. You can start a meeting now, or you can schedule a new meeting similar to Google Meet. So you can do that, and you can schedule the meeting depending on when your class times are. For demo purposes, again, we're going to use the Meet Now option. So for the meeting name, you're going to want to type in your class name, for example, If you're teaching an English class, you can type in English and then start the meeting. So you can choose to turn on or off your camera. And then on the custom setup, you can choose your speaker, microphone, and camera options in case you have different cameras or different speakers. And then now you can click the Join Now option. Okay, so the first thing is it's going to have a pop-up that shows you the meeting link. You're going to want to copy this meeting link and send it to your students so that they can join your live session. And now to share your whiteboard canvas, you're going to go over here to the Open Share Tray option and click it. And then you're going to go to the Screen Share Desktop window. So this is also similar to Google Meet, where you'll have different options. If you want to share only the whiteboard window, you're going to go into the window option and choose your whiteboard canvas. And again, keep in mind that if you do that, the students will only be able to see the whiteboard canvas. So if you click off, they won't be able to see anything. So if you want to use the Windows toggle button, definitely do the entire screen option like before. And then that way you'll be able to toggle back and forth between your desktop and the whiteboard canvas. Okay, so that is how you share your screen on Microsoft Teams. Okay. So that was just a quick tutorial to use these two different video conferencing software. And again, the step-by-step instructions will be available on the slides. Okay. Now for the recommended setup. So when you're first doing distance learning, we recommend a dual screen setup. That way you'll have one screen for being able to see your students while you're doing the video conferencing. And the second screen, we recommend putting your whiteboard canvas on there. So then that way you'll be able to see what your different teaching materials are, and you can actually be able to annotate and write on top of it. So for example, right now I'm using the pen display, and so I can actually be able to write on the canvas, and then I can use the back end to erase. So that's really useful when you're writing notes for your lessons when you're teaching. So, okay. Now that we've gone a little bit over the video conferencing and the recommended setup, I'm going to see if you guys are awake today. So I'm going to give you a little pop quiz and ask you a question, and I want you to respond your answers. Okay. So and keep in mind, I tried to create an easy question. It's basically to test if you're alive and if you're awake. So my question for you is, how many screens do we recommend using for distance learning? How many screens? Okay, so I'm gonna, like before, I'm gonna go into the magic box and I'm gonna go into the pop quiz option. Okay, so if you have your companion app, you're gonna wanna go to your phone and your companion app and then click the pop quiz option, and then write the answer and throw it onto the canvas. If you don't have the companion app, you should hurry up and download it. In the previous episode, we explained how to do that, but it's okay. We also have a QR code option. So if you don't have the companion app, you can use your phone or tablet, scan the QR code, and you'll be able to write it and then send it to the board. And then the third option is you can also use your laptop. So I'm going to be copying and pasting this link into the comments, and you can submit your answer. Okay. So let's see. Let's see who paid attention to the last episode and downloaded the companion app to see who's going to respond. And if not, the easiest option is if you don't want to do that, you can also just respond in the comments. I can see there's already one response in the comments already. So how many screens do we recommend using? Is the answer 1, 2, 5, 10? How many screens? And keep in mind, we just covered this. So right now I'm just seeing if you guys are awake. What do you think? Okay, I guess we have quite a few sleepy people today. It's okay. Let's see. So Ming, let's see what your answer is. So, good job. Yes, you are correct. It is 2. So we recommend using 2 screens, one for being able to see your students' faces, and the second one to be able to annotate on your whiteboard canvas. Yay, okay, we're getting more responses now. Let's see, 2. Let's right click and zoom in onto Andy's to see what he wrote. Okay, cool, at least 2. Yes, you're correct. Andy, 2, 2. Okay, good job, everyone. And I also see in the comments you guys responded too. Okay, cool. So we have people that are awake and ready today. Nice. Okay. So now we're going to go into live streaming. For example, right now we're doing live streaming. So how do you do that for yourself? So first off, we're going to look into the pros and cons of live streaming. And since this is a lot of words, I'm going to just click this hand button. And I'm going to zoom into the canvas, like so. And then we're going to go first into the pros. So for live streaming, some of the pros is that you have a more stable transmission of your image and sound, because when you're doing video conferencing, you're having two-way communication of the video and audio for yourself and your students. So it takes up a lot more bandwidth. Whereas for live streaming, you only have your video and audio that you have to deal with. The other pro is that the videos are, oh, sorry, I wanted to use the, okay. So the other thing is the videos are automatically saved. For example, if you're using YouTube live streaming, it'll automatically save into your YouTube channel after you finish the broadcast. The other thing is you can have a little bit of interaction with your students. For example, you have the live chat function, and the students can also use the emoticons to express their learning status. So you get a little bit of interaction when you're doing live streaming. Okay, now let's look at the cons. So for live streaming, there is going to be a little bit of a lag. So about 15 to 40 seconds. So you notice that sometimes when I post a question or talk about something, I'll give a little bit of more time for people to respond, because I know that there's a little bit of a lag when doing live streaming. So you also have to keep that in mind when you're doing interactions when you're live streaming. Also, normally when you're live streaming, you can only share your video. But the cool thing is with Whiteboard for Windows, some of the cons of live streaming, we actually combat that with our software. So for example, the con is usually you can only share your video, but with Whiteboard for Windows, you can actually share your desktop. And on top of that, we have built-in video integration. So you can also share your video with the Whiteboard canvas. Another con is usually there's limited interaction with your students. But with Whiteboard for Windows, you have different tools for engagement. For example, like you saw before, we did a little mini pop quiz to see if you guys were awake. And you can do that with your students with live streaming and Whiteboard for Windows. Okay, so now let's look into how to use YouTube live streaming with the Whiteboard for Windows. So again, we're going to use that handy Windows toggle button. Okay. And now I'm going to go to YouTube, and you're going to click the Create button over here on the top, and you're going to click Go Live. So for live streaming sessions, you want to make sure that you have live streaming capabilities on your YouTube channel, and that will take sometimes about 24 hours. So keep that in mind. You won't be able to start your live streaming session right away. Okay, so now that we're on this section, you're going to want to go down to here to the stream key over here, and you're going to copy this, and you're going to want to bring it to your whiteboard canvas. So I'm going to toggle back to the whiteboard canvas. Okay. So again, I have like the step-by-step instructions on the slides, which you can be able to review after the live stream. Okay. So now that I've copied this stream key, you're going to want to follow these instructions over here to go to the screenshot and then the screen record button. So I'm going to do that now. So go to the screenshot and then click the screen record button. Okay, and then this window is going to pop up. And you're going to want to click here for live streaming your video. And then you're going to copy and paste it, the stream key and the stream URL to here. Also, keep in mind, if you do have two different monitors, you can click here and you can choose which screen you want to share. So keep that in mind. So for this one, I will be sharing my screen 1 because that has my whiteboard canvas on it. And then you're going to click the live streaming video. This is going to pop up. You can click here to paste your stream key. And you can toggle back to your YouTube to be able to get your stream URL. Copy that over here. And then you're going to paste it over here. And click this button to paste. So YouTube already records the session and saves it onto your YouTube channel. But myViewBoard Whiteboard for Windows gives you a second option that you can also save it as an MP4 file. So if you would like to also save it as an MP4 file, you're going to click the record the stream option. And then, let's see. Okay. The other thing is to share it with your students, you're going to want to click the share button on the top and copy the link and share it with your students so that they'll be able to join your YouTube live streaming session. And if you want to add your face, like the video of your face onto the canvas while you're teaching, what you can do is you can go here in the magic box. And you're going to go here to the camera option. And then you can add your camera onto the screen. And you can even adjust the size of it, make it bigger or smaller. And you can put it anywhere you want on the screen. So while you're doing your live streaming sessions, you'll also have your camera option. And then if you click here, you can hide the toolbar. So like this. So when you're teaching, you can both have the camera and your different teaching materials on your live stream. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now for the next part. So now you just click the arrow button and then it'll ask you to set your video resolution. So you choose which video resolution you'd like to do that. And then you have a 3, 2, 1 countdown and it's going to start live streaming directly onto YouTube. So you'll have this box over here. So after you finish your live streaming session, you're going to want to click the stop button over here. And this is going to stop the YouTube streaming and the screen recording at the same time. So it'll do both. And then you're going to get a preview window over here and you can play it and see how it is. And then you're going to click the save button to be able to save it as an MP4 file. So over here, you can save it to your local disk drive or to your cloud drive for the MP4 file. Okay. So for the file, I'm not going to save it because it's just a little demo. So I'm going to click no. And that was a little bit about video conferencing and live streaming and how to pair it with our Whiteboard for Windows. So now that you learn a little bit of about that, I'm curious, which one do you want to plan on using for your distance learning? Do you plan on using video conferencing or live streaming? So post it in the comments. Which one do you want to use now that you learn a little bit more? And also, I'm curious to hear what else you would like to learn about myViewBoard. Post it in the comments what you're interested in learning, and we'll try to add that to our sessions in the future. So that was our session for today. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.